what's happening, good people? What is happening? What is happening? I'm checking my microphone right here. Make sure my mic is set up. And let me turn this down a little bit. This is a little too... That's some nice loft music right there. We ain't had to go that low. We ain't had to go that low. Let it play a little bit in the background. I don't know what's the matter with my baby over here. My laptop. Poindexter. He kind of old. He old. I had him ever since I've been living out here. Yeah, I've been out here from New York for a while now. And he kind of old, he kind of old, yeah. So I'm going to leave him, just leave it like right there. Y'all can hear me, right? Y'all can hear me? My mic is on, so I think everything is good. Everything is good. Check 1, check 2. Okay. This is just a little cheap mic right here. I picked this up at Walmart. Came with one of those what you call vlogging sets, a vlogging kit for vlogging. But I got a good microphone, an expensive microphone. I paid a little money for that microphone downstairs in my basement, but I didn't pack it well, so, and it's real nice too. It just clamps right onto my desk, I can maneuver it around, but I didn't pack it well, and then my basement, the brick around the wall is chipping. Got to get some work done down there, and it's crumbling all into my boxes and different things that I have stored away, and so I think that microphone may just possibly be no good, and I'm not happy about that because I barely ever got to even use the thing, but that's my bad because I didn't pack it away properly, So anywho, welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. What's happening? What is happening, beautiful people? To all my brothers and sisters in the building, you are now in tune for...
Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome...
Must learn! And yeah, because you must learn. We must all learn. And I'm not ashamed to say that at my age of 52, and I will be seeing my 53rd birthday in just a few weeks. As a matter of fact, today is December the 12th. As we see here, I will be seeing my birthday in just a few weeks. My 53rd. Yup. Y'all see all the gray hairs. Now, you look back at some of the videos on this channel, and you notice that I ain't hardly have no gray hairs, but it's been a minute since I really dropped a video up here for you guys, and I felt as though it was time, because I really only like to speak when the spirit moves me to speak, and so I've been doing a lot of revamping in my life, and re-educating myself, you know what I'm saying? Not saying that what I was educating myself about is, no good or null and void, but I had to come to an awakening. I had an epiphany, if you will, and it became apparent to me that there's something going on, and it's an elevation. It's like a movement almost, if you will. Motion, the spirit is moving. It's moving. It's moving through so many of our people right now. You understand what I'm saying? And so many of our people right now, they coming into this overstanding and understanding, because you don't want to be under anything, because if you understand, then that means you under, and you trying to see what's happening. You need to be understanding and overstanding all that you survey or, take in, digest. Right? So, And if you ask me, it all really started like somewhere around, I'm gonna say 2019 with the Great Conjunction. Yeah, the Great Conjunction is it took place in 2019. I believe it was in December or January. And a Great Conjunction, you know, where Saturn, Jupiter, and the Sun was like pretty much all aligned at 0 degrees for the very first time since 1226, if I'm not mistaken. Very long time. But the energy that Great Conjunction was emitting was powerful. And you know, it's also known as the reset. You understand what I'm saying? And at that time, you could literally reset your life. Anything that you was to put out into the ether, into the ethos, at that time, you would have surely got that back. You would have got it back. It would have manifested. As long as you too, of course, would have done the work. You know, I mean, I'm not here trying to sell nobody no magic beans in a bag. We don't do that here. We don't do that. I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm never gonna do that. You know, especially not to my folk. You know what I mean? Regardless of, you know, I always say, regardless of what some of you may think of me, because I know some of you feel like you got me down to a knowledge. You know, you got me down pat. You know, you judging me based on how I look, you know, my private life, because it is private. This is why I don't really talk about it and I don't broadcast it. You understand what I'm saying? But, you know, I've heard little things in my comments. You know, this is why I turn a lot of my comments off, because I'm not here for that. I'm here to do work. The work that I believe and know the ancestors would want me to do. You understand what I'm saying? Which is to pass on knowledge. So, and I'm still a student. You know, I'm not up here claiming or proclaiming to be any master teacher. I'm a baby scholar. You understand what I'm saying? As I started to tell you guys in the beginning, let me turn my heater off because it is getting a little warm now. Yeah, my back room, you know, this is an add-on to the house, so it does get cold back here, so I keep my heater running. You know, I'm at that chilly age. You know, I get chilly pretty fast sometimes. But I love it still the same, because man, I'm telling you, when you get to that 50 and above, when you get to that 50 and above club, you know, that mile high club, you know, not mile high in that way, get your mind out the gutter. But I'm talking about the halftime club, the 50 and above. When you get there, it's a beautiful thing, and I hope that for my younger brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying, my little Nijis, I hope that you all can see that, because with the way I see a lot of you all going today, it's very, very alarming and disappointing, because I'm from the old school. You know, I'm a 70s baby. And I remember a time where, yeah, we did our thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to hold no punches. I'm not going to mince no words here. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I've always done that. But I come from an age, an era rather, where even though we did our thing, you know, we all did our little thing. You know, smoke a little bud, you know, hide out, smoke a little bud on the back side of the house, side of the building, whatever, you know. On the way to school, you know, in the park, you know, while playing handball. Handball is the thing, especially in New York, you know. And, you know, we all did our little thing, you know what I'm saying? Some of us even did their little one too, you know what I mean? But we had a certain level of respect, especially when it came to our elders. Now, let me reiterate something. When I say elders, I'm not calling every older person an elder. Some of you don't deserve that title. I've said this before in older videos, and I say this all the time. Just because you older don't mean you deserve the title as an elder, and it don't mean you deserve that respect. What are you doing to be respected? You got old? Shit. If we lucky, we all gonna get old. You know, if we fortunate, we all gonna get old. You know? So that don't just merit you respect, you know? You have to give respect. You have to walk with and walk in respect. Walk in the light so that you will radiate respect. Just as your aura, your Taurus field stretches out at least up to 15, 20 feet from your body. People feel your energy, and when they feel that negative vibe from you, oh, you ain't getting no respect. I don't care how old you is. I don't care how old you are. You're not getting any respect. You know, but a lot of these young people nowadays, the lack of respect is like, whoo, it's off the Richter scale, man. It's just, it's horrible. It's horrible. You know, I see the way that these young people now, and I think sometimes I get it. I don't condone it, because no matter what, leave those older people alone. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Let their last days here on this earth, this terrestrial, be peaceful. Don't make it a horrible and scary experience for them, because for many of them, they really felt as though they had overcome that era. That era of, you know, being afraid all the time, you know, not being able to say this and say that and go here and go there, and, you know, just always being afraid, you know, that whole civil rights era and all of that, you know. And now these streets have become crazy again. I mean, not to put my mama business out there in the street, but my mama, my mother, whom I love dearly. And if you see this video, Mom, don't get mad at me. You know, I'm not telling you business, because y'all know that look, my mama don't play that. Telling the business, listen, we was pretty much all raised with that whole belief factor concept that what goes on in the family and in the house stays in the house. A lot of times I think that was kind of wrong, because so many horrific things were going on in the house and happening to so many babies, but they were made to feel afraid to speak out about anything. And so now we got a lot of people walking around here, they not right in their head. They messed up, y'all, because of things like that. You know, no disrespect to my mom, my aunties, and no disrespect. I love y'all. I love them because they raised me well and to the best that they could. And I believe and feel and know that they did a fabulous job. You know what I mean? Because I grew up to be a wonderful person. You know, but so, you know, I mean, like, I see these young people out here today, and I see and I hear the way they speak to the older people, and it's just, it really is deplorable. It is deplorable. And you have made it so that these older people, they don't feel safe within their own neighborhoods. They don't feel safe within their own hoods, communities. You know, and that ain't good. You know, they don't even want to sit on their own porch. You know, like I said, growing up back in the 70s and the 80s, etc., we did our little thing. You know, we did our little dirt. You know, you cursed when there wasn't nobody around. You know, what? And we called each other the B word, and we said your little curse words. You know, but you had that respect for the older folks. You see what I'm saying? For the elders, because back then they earned the title of elder because they were really there. You understand what I'm saying? They were figures in our lives. You know, I remember growing up, and you know, we out there, we doing things that we ain't supposed to be doing. You know, darting out in the street. You know, whatever, being bad, mischievous. And the elders be out there, hey, what you doing over there? What you think you're doing? Get your butt out that street. You want me to go ring that bell and tell your mama and them you over there? Get over there. Get away from there. And you respected that. And you got away from there. Miss Johnson come outside and be like, hey, look now. Y'all gonna get off my porch, all that noise. Get off my stoop making all that noise now, all that racket. You got off Miss Johnson's stoop. And you did not be disrespectful. You didn't give her no back talk, because that was one of the main things that parents back in the days taught their children. But I get sometimes, to a certain degree, why some parents don't feel that way anymore, because we've got so many older people out here that the children should be feeling safe and feeling like they can look up to and depend upon, but they can't, because they out here and you doing all kind of
I gotta go to school.
fuck shit to the babies, and it is horrible. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say, what makes you deserve respect? Just because you got old? I mean, you know, I got old. I'm not old, but I'm not young. I'm not a baby either. You understand what I'm saying? I got old, and if I'm blessed, if I'm fortunate enough, I'm going to get older to see a whole lot more gray hairs. But the way a lot of these young people act nowadays, y'all act like y'all don't even want to see no gray hairs, excuse me. So, you know, it's just a lot of things changing. Things must change, I get that. But a lot of the changes that are taking place are not for the better. And that has nothing to do with the outside, the people that are here in control. That has nothing to do with that. But us, as a people, we need to do better, and we can do better. I always advocate for love. Y'all know that I'm a strong advocate for love, man. Love is the glue that holds it all together. All of it. Okay, it holds it together. And if we let that love die, completely die, we doomed. We all will perish if we let that love just wither away and die. So, with that being said, you know what I mean? Listen, man, it's just been a lot of things going on. You know, like I said, there's an awakening. There is an awakening. And if you ask me, it took place right around that time of that great conjunction, because that energy was powerful, and that entering into the age of Aquarius, it opened all eyes that have been closed for a long time. And when I say eyes, I should say eye, because I'm really speaking of the third eye, but it opened a lot of people's third eye, and a lot of people became aware of a multitude of things that you may have been sweeping under the rug for a long time. Speaking of this awakening that's going on with black folk, Aborigine, copper color folk, Nijis, right? And I'm gonna say that because there's a battle going on right now. There's a battle going on right now between Africans and Nijis. But it ain't really a battle, because to be totally honest, you know what I'm saying? Africans, they really I haven't heard nothing from no Africans. They really like, we told y'all. I told you, you was not my brother, you was not my sister. And I'm not trying to mock nobody, because I love my African brothers and sisters. I have plenty of African brothers and sisters whom I'm close with. You know, I even have an ex, okay, straight from, Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, in Africa, so I'm not trying to knock anybody, you know what I'm saying? But let me check something over here real quick. Make sure we still rolling over here. Yeah, I'm rolling. Okay, cool. Put this back down. It's supposed to be at the top, but I don't know why it won't stay at the top, so I can see it. But anyway, just put it back down over here. Okay, so like like I was saying, the Africans, man, they ain't even really saying nothing. It's really just us. We the ones all scrambled and, you know what I'm saying, displaced and you know, running around like chickens with our heads cut off. And we know why. We know why because there was I hate when that happens. But yeah, there was an agenda. You know, there was something put in place to keep us displaced, to scramble the language, to scramble us, just like it says and speaks of in the Bible, if you will. Babylon. You understand what I'm saying? And so now the people, we just all messed up. But you know what? And now at my age, I'm kind of feeling like, wow, you know, you should have known that. I should have known that. Why? Because my family told me, like a lot of ours did. Listen, man, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, okay? And in Brooklyn, New York, you know, you had to know your math, you had to know who you were, and you had to stand strong on that. You know, at least when I was coming up back in the days. Because if you didn't, you might get checked. You understand what I'm saying? That's the home of, you know, X-Clan, Public Enemy, you know. And, you know, you had to stand on your square. Especially if you was an Earth, you know, if you was down with the 5%er, you know, who at one point in time I was, you know what I'm saying? And I was given and adopted the name Mother Africa, you know, because at that time, when most of us were still asleep and not aware of who we were, or denying or rejecting who our family had already told us we were. Why were we doing that? I don't know. I guess because it was all over the place. Everybody was walking around talking about, I'm Black African, so you didn't want to be left out. You know what I'm saying? You wanted to be included, so you said, I'm African too. Look at all the stuff on my wall. Now, some of it I'm gonna leave up here because I like my little statue. Yeah, I like my statue. You know what I'm saying? Mama, you know, I like a lot of my statues and stuff. So I'm gonna leave a lot of these up here, but I will change some. You feel me? And I will add more things and pictures and ornaments, statues or whatever up here that represent the Niji side. The Niji. Because, as I was saying, growing up, I don't recall anybody in my family, and I must say this, I don't recall nobody in my family ever saying that we was African. Not really. I mean, yeah, we, you know, Black people kind of adopted that whole thing, you know what I'm saying, calling yourself African, but then again, I don't never really remember hearing nobody, you know, in my family calling themselves African. But Black, yeah, Black, we adopted that. We gravitated towards that, and we adopted that real easy. But I never recall anyone in my family ever saying that we had kinfolk in Africa or from Africa. That I can say and stand on that. But I can recall my grandmother and them, and even my great-grandmama. Because I was fortunate enough to have all my grandmothers except my mama's mama, okay, who passed when my mother was very young. But I was fortunate enough to have, you know, my grandmother on my dad's side, and then my great-grandmom's, which was my granddad's mother. And I grew up, spent a few years down south with my southern family because I have southern roots. Carolinas, Georgia, you know, my dad's side, South Carolina, you know, we Ellery, we Santee, you know what I'm saying? We Sumter, you know, we St. Matthews, Orangeburg, Columbia, you know, on my mom's side too. You understand what I'm saying? But I grew up mostly with my dad's side of the family, you know. And on my mom's side, we Georgia, all down Georgia, you know, Savannah, Augusta, Atlanta, and all throughout other places, you know. But I can recall all of them always saying we had Indian in our blood. We have Indian in our blood, Indian in our family. I can't ever recall any of them saying we had Africans in our family. I can't recall any of them ever mentioning anything about a relative from Africa that came here to live or in Africa. I can't recall any cousins coming over from Africa to visit, because back when my grandparents were still alive, may they all sleep in peace, sleep in power, grandmom, sleep in power, grandpa, pop, mom, sleep in power. I can't recall any African cousins, any African relatives ever coming to any family reunion. And we always had a family reunion, like every year. Every year we had a family reunion, every summer. And I never met not one. And I have a gang of cousins, and I've met just about all of them, except for a lot of the newer ones. But I met all of them. You understand what I'm saying? All the ones in my age category, we all came up together. My grandmom and them made sure we was close-knit like that. We were a close-knit family. And I really cannot recall anybody ever saying, oh, you know, your cousin, Mustafa or whoever, you know, again, shouts out to my African brothers and sisters. I'm not trying to insult anyone, but I'm just stating the facts. I can't recall anybody ever saying that we had any cousins from over there and, you know, they were coming, you know, because Africans have, people from Africa have been traveling back and forth to the United States for a long, long time. So wouldn't you have thought that at least one cousin, one auntie, one uncle would have came? Nothing. I never saw nobody. And so as I'm older now, I'm wondering, why did I stray from that? Because I've spent the last parts of my years studying mostly African culture, when I could have been studying that part. You see what I'm saying? I spent the latter part of my years, you know, reading, stuff like this. Chancellor William, you know, The Destruction of the Black Civilization, you know, and so many other books that I have here. You understand what I'm saying? And, you know, listening to people like Dr. John Henry Clark. No disrespect to that brother. He's gone and passed on, transitioned, so we're not here to disrespect. You know, Dr. Ben Yosef Yakinen, and then as it turns out, as I'm learning today, a lot of these cats were down with UNESCO and other organizations that were actually sending them over here to further impose this out of Africa theory into our brains, into our psyche. And it stuck. It did. But now, as you see, many people are waking up to the fact that that ain't what my grandmama told me. That ain't what auntie and them told me. No, sir. Nobody told me no such a thing. No such a thing. You know what I'm saying? You know, but and it's sad, because if you are fortunate enough to be my age or older, especially if you're older, then oh my God, for you it must be really sad. But you know, that just goes to show that the brainwashing is real. And there's a whole gang of people right now that don't want to hear us speaking like this. You know, this is why, and let me give my flowers while I'm here. This is why I gotta give my flowers to people like Mr. Dane Calloway and his wife, Tanisha Calloway. People like Top Cat. People like Phoenix Moon. You know, people like Sister Bethany. You know what I'm saying? You know, Chief. You know, Chief Supremes. All of them, you know, they doing the work. They letting our people know what really is going on and what happened with the brainwashing. And you know, there's a lot of people in the world right now, they upset, they mad about that. They on fire about that. You hear me? On fire. But I mean, what are you gonna do? That's something that was inevitable to happen. That was inevitable, because it was only going to be a matter of time before people were going to sit back and say, hey, that's not what grandma and them told me. You know, why am I walking around here calling myself that? Ain't nobody in my family ever said that. I ain't got no cousins or no kinfolk that said or told me they from Africa. I ain't never been to Africa. We ain't never tried. Of all the places your family has ever planned to go for family vacation and meet the kinfolk, Africa was never on the list. Like I said, all the family reunions that we always had, and we had several before my grandparents got too old and passed away, we had a family reunion every year, every summer. Never heard no one mention that. Never. I always knew, but I leaned more towards this Africa, this whole out of Africa concept. And so I studied and I doubled up on my African teachings and culture, and you know, but now I'm sitting back and I'm saying, because see, I'm a grandmama now. My baby girl just had twin girls. They just turned 1. So shouts out to my grandbabies, not Joy. I'm thinking about my best friend's twin girls. But shouts out to my grandbabies, hope in heaven. Excuse me, Grandma, sorry. But Joy, there go Joy. Joy, you talking about me? But yeah, let's stop talking about auntie. Hope in heaven. Shout out to my baby girl, okay? Shout out to her too, you know, little Keisha, shout out to you. And, you know, shouts out to my baby girls. You know, I got to get down there because I haven't even met my babies yet, except for on FaceTime, which we do quite often. But I got to get down there. You know, I just haven't made it down that way yet, you know. And so, I want them to know, you know what I'm saying? So I do what I do, not to appease anyone. Not for points, not for kudos, not for that bag or any of that, but so that my mama won't leave this earth not knowing as much as she could possibly know about who we are, what's our roots, what's our lineage. I don't want my grandbabies growing up in this world and having to reach my age before they know. You know, my daughter as well, you know what I'm saying? You know, so I do this for them. I do this for them. And then I do this for my folks that need to be taught. You see what I'm saying? The little neegies. Okay? The little ones. You know what I'm saying? The brothers and the sisters out here that, you know, they don't know nothing of this, you know, because they don't even have the fortune of having a mom or a pop in their lives. And the ones that they have in their lives, shit, they competing with them. You know, baby girl, you know, my mom is up in the club trying to get the same man she trying to get. Pop on the corner, you know what I'm saying, trying to hustle. If your hair, your beard is as gray as mine or even grayer or just as white as sister in this picture, then you need to sit down somewhere. Seriously, you need to sit down somewhere and try to figure out what's going to be for Sunday dinner. Because see, well, I remember growing up, we gathered at my grandmother's house every Sunday for Sunday dinner. You know what I'm saying? Something that nobody doing no more. Ain't nobody in the kitchen. We had to all be in the kitchen, all my cousins and us. We had to all be in the kitchen popping peas and peeling potatoes, you know, and you know, mixing bowls of cake batter and, you know, stuffing oven roasters and, you know, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a gathering. It was a family affair every Sunday at my big mama's house. You understand what I'm saying? I was fortunate enough to have that, but I look at the young people now today and they don't have none of that. They don't, because my mom and Pop, they out in the street. See what I'm saying? Pop smoking blunts. Rolling them up right in front of the grandbabies. My mom in the club trying to holler at the same dude you trying to holler at. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And so, you know, I want to read a couple of things to y'all I got over here, and hopefully This video won't run over too long, and I will have time to read it to you guys. If not, we'll do that in another part, because there will be a part 2 to this. So I'm going to call this one Part 1, Getting Back to Grandma's House. That's what we're going to title this, right? Getting Back to Grandma's House, retracing our roots.